Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. Today we are going to talk about the British battleship Marlborough, Tier 8 battleship, and I absolutely love this ship. Just recently got it. This is now my favorite Tier 8 battleship. Yes, even over uh, the Russian one that I set the XP record in for a little while there. This is my favorite one, even after the few matches I played into it. So let's go over to the build. Uh, First of all, the commander is Azure Nelson. Now, if you are a free to play person and you don't have any extra commanders, you could run Cunningham with this build right here with Flight and Bow Cannoneer, generating drill bits, marksmanship, and reaching out XXL. And instead of Scharnhorst, you could use uh, Tagagi. Yeah, Tagagi for the total HP restore. And we're going to talk about the reason why that is. If I built a commander particularly only for the ship, I definitely would, but it's kind of overkill. So, with that being said, let's go back to the build I use. This is Azure Lane Nelson with Scharnhorst and the Revel to get the time down. Now, again, you could use the heals, but on this particular build, it is overkill. And I'll explain why here in a minute. On Nelson, I use the Flammable Cannoneer, marksmanship, and the two differences between Nelson and Cunningham is instead of gyrating drill bits, we have Big 7, which adds a ton of damage, 16% to AP and HE, and it doesn't take away from your speed, which is a big thing for me at this tier as you get to higher tiers. And one other thing it also it does is the armor penetration of your battleship shells. It does take it down 15%, but however you look at that could be good or bad. A lot of times I like not overpenning, which you don't really have that issue in this ship because these are, I believe, 14-inch guns on this. And the other difference on the perk is on Nelson, you have Master Mechanic, and this is incredible on this ship. And I will show why, and then also fight fire with fire. So let's get to the ship itself. For upgrades, right here, aiming systems mod 1, that's pretty much standard as you go. And then for the mod 2, steering gears, and you're gonna see why I take steering gears with this ship in particular. Normally, I would say propulsion mod or steering gears. This is a ship I would definitely say take the steering gears on to help the rudder. And the concealment mod 1 in your third slot. You definitely want that one. Normally, I would say either would work okay, but on this ship, you want that for that incoming fire dispersion. And the main battery mod 3 to get your reload time down. And it does hurt your traverse a little bit. And let's go to the loadout. And this is uh, so this repair party consumable. You normally get two, and because we have Azure Lane Nelson, we get four. And the reason I said it's overkill to even add the 4% on as the perk is this is essentially the exact same the heal that the Conqueror gets. This thing will go from almost dead to almost fully healed in no time. You'll see in our match, I was super healing like crazy in this. This is an incredible heal. Um, and you're gonna love it. So, and then we'll go to specs. Survivability, it has not very many hit points. It doesn't have a lot of health, guys. It's very low. It's the lowest tier 8 that I can think of off a hand. There might be another one. But with that the heals, you don't really need it. You know, you don't have to have 100,000 to be effective in this ship at all. Artillery, another spot where this thing absolutely shines. It has 16 14-inch guns that reload every 21 seconds on this build. It is so much fun to play. And do not sleep on the AP. The game that I'm showing you, I didn't get a lot of opportunities to use the AP, but the AP is not terrible on this ship. I fought a lot of Bowen people, and it is British. And shooting shells, 16 shells have a 24% fire chance. Downrange on a 22-second reload is pretty solid. AA pretty darn good. Didn't have it. I haven't run across too many carriers with it yet. And maneuverability, you can see this thing is relatively quick. Middle range, middle of the pack kind of turning radius, and respectable rudder shift. But that 31 knots is kind of why I like Nelson. Also, that's an added bonus is you don't take. I think it's a gyrating drill bits that takes your battleship speed down 10%. I don't like losing that, and pretty average detectability for what it is. Now stats, you see I just got it, and I absolutely love this thing. I average 90,000 damage in it. And that's saying a lot because in this ship in particular, and always, but definitely in this ship, I always am a player that shoots at destroyers, but in this ship, for a battleship, it is very good at taking out destroyers. From what I've played with it so far, and to have a 90,000 damage in it is pretty respectable, and potential damage at 1.2 is real good as a battleship as well. Armor. So a lot of people will say this thing is squishy. And it does have its issues, but I don't see the same problem that everybody else has. If you angle, let's take the bow off. What is the bow on this? It is 32 on the bow, which is something I didn't even realize when I was playing it. So you can bow tank everything but the big Japanese 460 millimeter 18-point-inch one guns on it. Um, with that being said, the torpedo protection you can take off the superstructure, and we're going to show you one of the issues with this thing. And I don't feel that this is probably talked about on this ship, I'm guessing, but the how much of this armor, and this is your citadel right here, that is very, very close to your top of the deck. And I know people think this thing is squishy from the side and you can get dev struck easy. I don't have that problem. If you angle with this armor, you have plenty enough armor to be fine. The issue with this ship is plunging fire at distance. You can see there is not much between your citadel and that deck. And it's not like your deck armor right here. Your deck armor is that is that super helpful. And you can get citadel just from plunging fire in this. Now, again, that's why I bring up the rudder shift on this, because you can get yourself angled really well and you can dodge a lot of rounds. And you're going to see that in our match here. As we go ahead and start this match and check who we're up against, I do want to say it is disclaimer time. This is a beginner's guide to help out people just learning this ship or learning the game in general. This is not for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything. There is also multiple ways to build and play ships, so opinions will vary. I am just a above average player. I don't claim to be the best player in the world. I just am a pretty darn good player. So I do make mistakes. You're going to see some in this match. And also, you didn't come to this video to see how to pronounce names, as I am very terrible at slaughtering other beautiful languages. It's almost an art form, so keep that in mind when you're watching this, guys. Now, with that out of the way, let's begin. I love this ship. I am so glad I got this ship, and I cannot wait to use it an incredible amount, because I think I'm going to have some really fun games in this. Few things you should note when you're first in this ship. This is not a ship you want to get overly aggressive with right away till you know what's out there. As you can see in this match, we are bottom tier, and you're gonna see me go just head on with a Yamato. And there's a Mino over here, and I think a battleship comes over later, but it's basically a gearing. I believe we have a gearing spotting for me over here. Now, right away, our aircraft carrier is just sitting there, so I'm not sure what's going on. So I'm very wary because I'm spotted right away. I do not want to just go headlong into this, and I'm worried about my teammate and the Mino getting destroyed right away because I don't know if them guys have pushed completely out yet. Because sometimes on Two Brothers, you will get people that come right out, and you can see they've been kind of sitting there. So now I got a Alaska bow tanking me, so I'm just gonna go throw HE at them. HE is real safe in this ship, especially with the big 7 perk. But do not sleep on the AP, and I use AP more than I do HE. On this ship, however, I do have a tendency to use HE more often than not. And part of the reason you want to be careful about going in straight away with this ship is when people see a Marlborough, I don't know what goes on, but it's almost like they see a Danae or a Minotaur, and they're like, I want to erase this thing, or like a Pensacola. So when you're spotted, get ready for fire, because as you're going to see over here, I am going to get super focused. I think there's 5 over here with an aircraft carrier, with an extra aircraft carrier as well, I think, at some point. So I'm going to be taking on a lot of heat, and I am going to be the biggest pain in the butt these guys have probably seen in a little while, or maybe even in a Marlborough. I don't even know. But you're going to see we get up here. Now that I know that they're not pushing, I'm going to push. And I want to make sure, because I do not know if that destroyer has worked its way over here. I want to help protect our destroyer, and I'm in a perfect ship for it. And if you angle well in this thing, and you can limit what is going to shoot to you, and I don't do a very good job of limiting what shoots me in this game, but if you do that, you're very safe in this ship, especially with the heals. The heals are really incredible in this ship. It's almost hilarious. I can't wait till you guys see. I think it's my second heal where it caught me off guard with this ship, and you can see the rudder shift of what I talked about early in the game. When I get spotted, I started to turn right away, and they basically completely missed me on all them shells. And you're going to see there's a Yamato, there's 2 Alaskas, there's a Duncan, there's something else over here as well. And for the time being, everybody's basically bow tanking me, or, the Alaska's behind the mountain, so I really can't get a good shot on him. Now, this is one of my weaknesses. I'm terrible at map awareness, and I drove straight into an island like an idiot. So you'll notice I don't just go shooting my guns. I want to disengage and back up. The problem is the carrier is spotting me right now, and you'll see I go dark here in a second, but I was hoping to have that while I backed up. And I do get a hit there that probably wouldn't have taken if I wasn't spotted by the carrier. But disengaging is, get yourself undetected to get into a better spot. As you can see, I don't mind shooting once I've stopped, because that Yamato, you can see he shot and he didn't miss, but and I'm angled well. And you'll see a lot of shells get bounced off me in this match with angling and using my rudder. This is one of the battleships where it's not just as simple as I call the warship wobble, or where you dance around with the back end to get all guns on target. I do it a lot in this ship just to change my angle. You'll see them. They'll try to shoot AP right at my belt, and then I'll dodge it with my rudder. But you can see I'm switching targets a lot, and a lot of times at this higher tier. And if you have a lot of targets, it's going to sound weird, but when you play this way, and you start to understand it, a lot of people at tier 8 now understand Oh, there's that heal, by the way. Look how much that can heal. You're going to see my next heal, and I basically just gain a ton of health. But at this tier, I have a tendency to put one person on fire and then move on to another person. You can see we've had the Yamato on fire, the Alaska on fire, the Duncan on fire. And I generally won't necessarily, if I got a lot of targets, I'll let them guys just burn with one fire while I get through everybody. But look at that heal from 26,000 health. And I think it takes us up to like 50 or something crazy. You'll see here in a second as the Yamato is now not on fire. So we're going to put him back on fire. And we go head to head with that Yamato. And you can see we're healing. We got another fire on Yamato. Now, these guys are all bow taken, so it's really hard. With 14-inch guns, I really can't overmatch too many people's bow with that. Yeah, 52,000 on that heal. And then first two heals, I feel like I almost wasted because of that. Now, our Chieflin wants me to help push in with him, and I'm good with it. You know, I'm angling. These guys are missing me. I keep, doing my rudder shift, and I'm okay with it. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'll come in and get some help. Now, it turns out he doesn't really actually want to push in. I don't know why he wanted support. I mean, I was hitting these guys the whole time, so I'm not sure what his thought process was there. But we're whittling away a little bit on everybody, particularly the Yami, because the Yami, if I get close in on this Yami, this is where I start to focus a little bit more on the Yami. And I could have taken a shot at the Duncan, but to me, I really want to get rid of the Yami because when I get close in, the Yami's definitely out of this group the deadliest. And do not think I'm sleeping on Alaskas. It's in my opinion, one of the best legendary tier ships in the game because of its kind of uniqueness of what that ship can do in its role. But you can see here, a million times now, I've taken a ton of damage, but they're not taking me out because of these heals. And you're going to see I still have 2 more heals left. And like I said, I really want to get this Yami down. He's got 1 perma-fire on him. I only throw 2 shells at him because I want to start working on something else, but I didn't really see a good option with the Duncan be going behind the hill. I probably, in that area, smarter play would have been to shoot the broadside Duncan, but I want to get rid of this Yami. Yami's the one thing that up close I need to get rid of before he closes the distance. I don't understand why he's backing up. He should have been closing the distance on me. And we see right here, we get a final shot on the Yami. I think we take the Yami out. But you can see very quietly with HE, we have 136,000 damage. Now, normally I don't care about damage, but I do care about getting rid of people. There's no destroyer over here, and we have the cap. So then I'm really my focus becomes getting rid of people that are a threat. And like I said, the Yami to me was the biggest threat. As you can see, the aircraft carriers start to focus a little bit on us. And now we have, I think it's just the 2 Alaskas left. And this is the one thing I feel I should have played different. This is another spot where I was not paying attention. I should have put AP in. Not yet, but you'll see that guy's broadside. I want to get rid of this Alaska as I get a high cal. I think the Alaska goes down before I can actually finish it. Yeah, it does. The Chieflin does take it out. So at legendary tier, this is where I should have switched to AP right here. I feel like I would have definitely done more damage to this Alaska right here. But we have 3 caps. I've done I feel a very good job in a tier 8 battleship, being the complete center of attention over here. This is the game with the 2.4 million potential damage at me, and that's saying a lot because I did not get torpedo shot at me. But with that being said, you can see this thing can take the focus of as long as you're aware of who's shooting you and where it's coming from. This thing is quite the tanky beast and is very good at being the center of attention. and you'll see here as we're getting closer, I still have an entire heal, so I'm not too worried about using it right now. I want to, because the Alaska's been shooting HE at me, I believe, most of the time. You know, I'm okay because I can heal a lot of that back, and so I'm okay with that. As the aircraft carrier starts to focus me, the AA on this thing is pretty good. This is only a match I believe I got it in, but I will say I don't think it's as good as what it seems like it is. Because I feel like I should have probably got a little bit. When I got focused on, I feel like I didn't take the planes out as quick as I am. And with this guy chasing me, this is a pretty easy deal. I should have thrown an AP out there, like I said, on a couple salvos while he was broadside. Now he's bowing, so this is definitely the smarter play, as I actually already had him on fire. And my goal now is to get him back on fire. Obviously, with the score the way it is, I probably should have shot AP, but you never know. Somebody might die on our team, and I might be able to burn him completely down. And then I use my last heal, and I survive, get a dreadnought. I believe I had a high caliber too. This ship, if you learn its capabilities, is so much fun. And the 16-inch or the 16 gun broadside is 193 damage, high cal dreadnought, and top of the leaderboard. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.